Hey, what's up guys? Justin with Tier 1 Tactical. Was out here today just playing around, testing out this new BPS blade, which, if you follow my channel, you know I reviewed its little brother probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, which has been an awesome blade, I will admit. For the price especially. But in here I was playing around with it earlier actually, just kind of doing some detail work. Definitely not going to sit here and put that in the video because you'd see me sitting there for about an hour trying to do this. But I will admit it did it quite well. Now, you look at this guy, especially, let's say, compared to the other one. You'll notice the handle's a little bit different, has a different positioning on the lanyard hole. Actually have a cutout in the scales, which, nice little touch. But the blade has a little bit more of a swell towards the tip, not to mention the added jimping on the back. And another great addition, which is usually a must in my opinion, is the 90-degree spine. Now, sorry for the lighting out here. I'm not set up where I usually record, but yeah, look at this 90-degree spine on this thing. I mean, of course, the ferro rod came out the thing. Anyway, that thing will throw some sparks. And look, I hate to say it, I've been using this blade all morning. Let me wipe it off here. Look at the finish on that blade. Of course, I'll get a better look at it here in a minute. There we go. Look at that. You can't even tell I've used this thing. And look, I've been making feather sticks with it, batoning with it all morning. And the finish, I mean, it looks like it did coming straight out the box. Whatever they did to that, it needs to happen on more blades. But seasoned oak. I use this seasoned oak much more than any other type of wood. And there's a few reasons for that. Here in my area, there's a large abundance of it. So, you know, in any type of survival situation, or just say camping or whatever, in my area, the chances are this is what I'd be using for a campfire, or, you know, maybe to make a fishing pole or make a spear. So I really like to test my knives out on it, because, you know, I really want to know if it's going to handle those hardwoods. The thing about it is, I've noticed on a lot of YouTube channels, the people making feather sticks, they use a lot of soft woods, spruce especially. Now, I'm not going to say any names, but I could make feather sticks with spruce using a butter knife. No joke. But you see, I've already been digging into it a little bit, so let's go ahead and knock this off. And start from scratch, and I'll show you guys just what this thing can do. Now I'm just using the tip here. Insert just the tip joke here, but I'm just using the tip, just kind of digging into that there for a second. Now again, this is definitely an extremely hard wood. Insert joke number 2. But as you can see, it just glides across this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, this is honestly one of the better performing blades I've used on this, and that's saying a lot, because I've used more expensive blades like the Benchmade Luco, or even just the more Bushcraft Black, which I ain't gonna lie, this is a badass little blade. I love this thing. Even with the serrations, you know, the serrations are far enough you can still do that detail work up closer to the handle. It's a nice little touch. But I've kind of worn this one down. But as you can see, it really wants to dig in there. Let's work this knot off here. Yeah, one thing about this piece though, it's got a lot of knots in it, so it's not the most ideal thing to feather stick with, but it's kind of the point. Alright, handles that pretty well. If I chopped it off and started over, it'd go much better, but I'm sure you guys get the point. $30, something like that. I mean, even if you just get its brother, you know, here I'll even make a few cuts with it too, just you can hear how hard that wood is. It's like it's grinding into it. Say if this was something like spruce or something a lot softer, man, be able to get some nice curls out of that. But again, for only being a $30 blade, this thing is amazing. And, you know, here's the kicker. Look at the sheaths they come in. I mean, that's... I mean, come on. You cannot beat that. If you had this made, you'd pay easily 60 to 80 bucks. I mean, this is not cheap thin leather. Look, compared to, like, the Luco. Much thicker leather. I mean, the quality, to be honest, is so much better. Yeah, sorry for the bad camera angles again. Like I said, I'm not in my usual recording area, but you get where I'm going with this. And again, let me move these out the way real quick. Throw some serious sparks. And look, okay, you see that? Now you don't. The finish on this thing is amazing. That blows my mind. Normally when you strike a ferro rod across the back of your blade, the first thing it does is leave a mark, then creates a spark. So, hats off to them for that. Anyways, let's move on over to the table and get the specs on this guy. Alright, if you didn't fast forward the first 10 minutes of this video, you would have seen this badass little budget Bushcraft blade completely dig into some seasoned oak. I mean, this thing performs like a champ. Also, you know, it feels really, really good in the hands. My only complaint is these screws right here are a little elevated, which if they were recessed, man, I would have absolutely no complaints about this knife. And look at that finish. You know, I first thought there might have been some sort of coating on it, keeping it like that, but after striking the ferro rod with it, I see that's not the case at all. This thing is just super mirror polished. I mean, look. You can literally see everything behind me with it. But it is high carbon steel, so it will rust. But if you wipe it off and maybe oil it after using it, you know, if you live in a humid climate, then I'd consider oiling it every now and again. But you know, if you wipe it off and keep it dry, you should be good. Let's go through the specs on this thing real quick. The blade maker, if you don't know already, is BPS Knives, and this model here is called the HK1S Bushcraft knife. Again, it has a 1066 high carbon steel blade with a Rockwell hardness of 59 to 60. True Scandi grind. Nice touch. And both of these guys have walnut handles that have been meticulously soaked in linseed oil. The overall length on this guy is 8.60 with a blade length of 4.30. So obviously the handle length is 4.3 as well. The width of the blade, 1 inch, and the thickness is 0.10. The weight listed without the sheath is 4.4, and the weight listed with the sheath is 7.4. Now, I haven't tested that out to see the accuracy, but you know, it's gonna vary in between each knife and sheath. You know, it might have a little extra material on it, but they probably just weighed one and went with that. Not a big deal, not a deal breaker. You're not going to notice a ½ ounce difference, whether it's on your hip or in your pack. You're just not going to notice it. But for $30, the way this blade performs, it's unreal. Again, it skates right across that harder wood and makes awesome curls. I can only imagine if I'd used like a spruce or a softer wood like that. I mean, this thing would just perform amazingly against a softer wood. Now, again, I use that seasoned oak because I want to see just how well it performs. You know, a lesser knife, honestly, isn't going to do nothing to it. As y'all seen, like I mentioned before with the Luco, once it got dull, it couldn't do nothing with it. This guy, let's see. Yeah. I don't know how well you can see that, but she's still shaving sharp after doing all that. And now I did not touch that up or anything. That's just what it is. Whoever did the heat treating on this guy loves his job. And in my book, that's an awesome, awesome thing. Alright. Now, for the giveaway, I have reached out to the winner just to double check, make sure they are cool with me making a video, announcing their name, all that. You know how people are these days. Some people might not want to be known, but which is, I mean, if I won something, I would want everybody to know I won, you know, except for maybe like the lottery, something like that. Then I'd probably go into hiding. But if all is good, then I will announce the winner maybe this evening, if not in the morning. And hopefully this person makes a video putting the knife to use. That's really what I want to see. I really want to see somebody else's reaction using this knife. And actually, you know, giving it a little love, should I say. So on that note, I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. So stay tuned and stay safe out there.